you today. I work for Owensboro Health. I have the privilege of serving with so many of you all. I'm Debbie Zuerner. I'm Director of Community Engagement in Owensboro Health. And I serve with you, the business community, the nonprofit community, so many of our community partnerships throughout the region that we serve. But one very special organization that I'm truly honored to serve with, and that is our Cooperative Extension. And I don't know about you, but I do hope you leave here today learning something new about Extension that you didn't know before. Because most of us think about Extension and our head immediately goes to the agricultural community, farmers, right? Or 4-H, perhaps. But there's so much more to Extension. And so as a board member, as a district board member, and also as a county council member, and I do serve at the state level with Community and Economic Development Initiative of Kentucky, also in the college. I serve at a state level and get to tell the great things that we do here in Owensboro Daviess County. So this organization is a real gem in Owensboro. It's an asset to Owensboro Daviess County that not all of us realize. And so I want to share just a little bit about my perspective from a board member's purview with you about Extension today. So what is it and who is it? You know the agents. You know, and we'll talk about that in just a moment, you know a lot of the agents and you know who to call when you have certain things going on, and we'll talk about that too. But really, who is Extension? Kentucky's two land-grant universities, the University of Kentucky and Kentucky State University, serve as partners in conducting educational programs through Cooperative Extension. That delivery process, the way they do that, is through Extension faculty, which is at our universities I just mentioned, county agents, council members, as myself, and others, volunteer leaders, and the general public, and all of you all. So if you didn't know that you were a part of Extension, just based on what we heard from Scott in the video itself, we are partners in Extension. The vision for Cooperative Extension is to be the educational resource for all Kentuckians that serves as a catalyst to build better communities and improve quality of life. And I don't think there's anyone in this room that doesn't align with that. The mission serves as a link between the counties of the Commonwealth, all 120, right? We were just talking about the breadth of that, and the state's land-grant universities to help people improve their lives through an educational process focusing on their needs and their issues in their own communities and counties. And I read last night on UK's website, I was digging and I told Clint, my gosh, I could be up here an hour, but I promise I won't. There was a statement that really resonated with me, and it says that Extension serves to bring the university to the people of the Commonwealth. And I'm going to repeat that. They serve to bring the universities to the people, so meeting us where we're at, to local communities to address issues important to all Kentuckians. So what are those issues? And what is their emphasis? So they emphasize diversity and locally driven decision making. We talk about that every month in here and all throughout our community organizations. Identifying and supporting educational evidence-based programs, that's very important, to solve problems and embrace change, and I'll come back to why that's important. Developing youth, adults, families, and communities. So what are those things important to all Kentuckians? We can assume those things, and how does Extension go about really impacting those things for us? And they do so through the areas of focus, and they each have one of our agents have areas of focus, and they have a work scope that they adhere to and work and connect our community members to the university. So agricultural and natural resources, providing non-formal education in areas of ag production, homeowner planning, natural resource utilization, specific programs on food production, farm business management, marketing, and processing agricultural products, growing and selling Kentucky proud. How many of you been to the Owensboro Regional Farmers Market? How many times have we said, grow local, buy local? Your Extension agents and your Extension offices working with our farmers to be able to do that, to help them market and sell their products. Natural resource and management addressing issues, tobacco research, diversification, and demonstration plots, and the list go on. But the important key today is that Extension, UK and local farmers come up with solutions, and something to be very, very proud of. Horticulture. Where's Annette? Is Annette here today? Yes, Annette. So I call you out because when I have any issue, I'm on the phone or sending pictures to Annette. Annette connects you to the University of Kentucky's Department of Horticulture, Department of Entomology, Landscape IPM program, and the World, which gives you the information about all of these things. Now I say entomology, and that is not the study of words. Look it up if you don't know what that is. So trees, vegetables, growing tomatoes, landscaping, spiders in your home, soil testing, and what the heck is that stuff on the back of your crepe myrtle leaf every spring that you don't know what it is? Call Annette. Call Annette. She will tell you what it is and tell you how to remedy it. Family and consumer sciences, and for those of you who don't know, I am a proud graduate of the University of Kentucky and the College of Agriculture, Food, and Environment, though a few years ago it wasn't called that, it was Human and Environmental Sciences, but we won't go into how long that was. However, family and consumer science is very near and dear to my heart. These are programs on nurturing families, our homemakers, and yes, they are in full force. Financial literacy, aging, promoting homes and families, leadership development. I'm going to go back to that statement I said earlier about evidence-based programming. These aren't homegrown, let's pull together a PowerPoint kind of presentations. These are evidence-based programs from our universities that they can share with you and our community in these things. And leadership development, Leadership Owensboro is here, and we talk about this all the time. They are partners to us in that. Estate planning, and the list goes on. 4-H development, developing our youth for tomorrow who will be our leaders. These programs create opportunities and supportive environments for youth and adults to help nurture capable, confident, and caring citizens. And that's what 4-H is about. I didn't grow up in 4-H, and man, that is, if there's a regret to learn from, it's that. And so it gives me just great pride to be able to share with you a little bit about 4-H. The emphasis is on hands-on learning. And so they do that in a variety of ways. Clubs, special interest project groups, enrichment, the 4-H camps, which you may have heard of but not really been familiar with, and other special activities, marksmanship clubs, livestock, trap shooting, STEM, young riders. If there's no club available in your student's school, if you're homeschool your students, and you want to know more about 4-H, you need to call your agents, because that is possible, and that is a great youth development program that really doesn't get heard about enough in our community. And lastly, community and economic development. I mentioned that I'm on the State Advisory Council for SEDIC, and that is Community and Economic Development Initiative in Kentucky. What a resource we have in Kentucky. 120 county profiles. You can get on their website right now, and they do so much for our communities across the state, but it is a resource for us. So I'm going to play one game, because you play games all the time.
Sure.
So I want to take the podium.
It's all you. You got it.
Awesome. I love it. Thanks. So the did you know, and Scott, you took one of my did you knows, but I'm going to go back to did you know, and I'm going to elaborate. But in December, our extension agents here in Daviess County and in Henderson worked with youth to develop those skits, and that was driven from our youth in this community, to have a presentation at Jody Berry Theater at the River Park Center on just exactly what Scott described, the issues of mental health and suicide in our farming community. They are elevating that. It's not the first you're going to hear about it. They rocked it. We really had a good dialogue about that, and that's your extension at work. Vaccines. Did you know that at the state level, Kentucky State University and University of Kentucky received a CDC grant to work with rural communities to talk about the importance of vaccines, and not just the COVID vaccine, all vaccines, because it's evident that our rural communities are not getting vaccinated and protecting themselves and their family members. And so that is their extension at work. Raised beds, working with Girls Incorporated, International Center, Western Kentucky Botanical Garden, churches, recovery program, hundreds of soil tests, and hundreds of volunteer hours. Let me mention just how your extension agents and your county extension offices are bringing notoriety and bringing emphasis to what you're doing here in Owensboro. So just a few, and I can't get to them all, and I had to cut some of these short, but some of the awards, Annette, 2021 Kentucky Association of County Agriculture Agent Communication Awards. Have you ever read Annette's articles and Clint's articles in the newspaper? If you haven't, you need to. You're going to be in for a treat and learn so much about what I've described. Clint recognized at the Kentucky Commodity Conference for submitting most entries to the Kentucky Extension Corn and Soybean Yield Contest. Robin, another member of the team, Dr. Lisa Collins, Outstanding Staff Award. Kelly Bland was recently recognized. I'm a dot connector, and that's my favorite thing to do in the world. So I'm asking you, start connecting the dots. When you see these articles about some of our nonprofit organizations and some of the collaborative work going on, dig down in there, because I bet Extension's part of that. Opportunity Center was just highlighted in the paper, and Kelly Bland is going over and doing nutritional classes and cooking classes with them. And so start connecting the dots to see how valuable this organization is in our community. And last but not least, Katie Alexander won first place in the state for Community Partnership Award for KEA FCS, Family and Consumer Science. And you know why? Because Extension Office got a phone call in March of 2019. And that cry was, we need help. We need help. As the COVID pandemic hit us, they went to work, all of these folks here, your county extension, they went to work with you, the business people, the Quilters Association. These individuals worked with their Homemakers Club, created a seamless process by which over 7,000 cloth masks were made in this community. And that's not just important for Owensboro, because what happened then is that spiraled and that went through the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and other extension agents picked up this process, and that's your extension at work. If you can't tell, I am so proud to be a board member with our Cooperative Extension Office. I wanted you to know a little bit from my perspective about what Extension does. You can find a shorter version of this in your brochure at your table, so I'm kind of a little bit passionate about this. But do pick this up, and I do want to note there is a keychain on your tables that was made in Kentucky. SEDIC has a lot to do with this program. You have a wooden keychain in the shade of Daviess County made by Cherry Wood Products. It's in Jackson, Kentucky. It's an entrepreneurship program at the Robinson Wood Center for Appalachian Resource Sustainability. These kinds of things are happening through the land-grant universities, through our local extension council, and I would ask that all of our agents stand up, and all of our board members as well if you're here, and just thank you so much, and thank you for giving me a few moments to talk about extension this morning.